Welcome back to the Football Martin channel. It's a midweek special here on the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please do go and subscribe to the Football Martin channel. Smash a like on this video if you're enjoying the content, and make sure you do go share it with a friend as well. Your support means the absolute world to me. So thank you for all the recent new subscribers and all the viewing numbers. It's just insane at this moment in time. The ultimate fan channel for all things Southampton Football Club. It's more than just a fan channel though. It's a community full of Southampton fans who like to come and have their say as well. So get involved in the comments box below. Love to get your thoughts on today's top story. I'm going to be talking about Kamaldeen Sulemana in today's Saints news. And we're also going to reflect upon a couple of other bits. The Saints have announced that the club shop will not be open all week. And I also want to touch upon the Northern Wall and what your thoughts have been on that change at St Mary's Stadium this season. But I want to kick off and talk about Kamaldeen Sulemana, who has been speaking to the official matchday programme. If any of you weren't at the game the weekend, you would have missed this. But he did do a feature in the matchday programme, and Sulemana went on to speak about his last few years at the football club. And I think it's good to reflect upon it, actually. I'll give you some of my opinions. I want you guys to get involved in the comments box below. And be honest. I'm going to be honest and talk about Kamaldeen. He went on to say that he does not have a bad attitude. He joined from Rennes for 22 million, didn't he, a couple of years ago, nearly 2 years ago. And he spoke about that pressure of being the club's record signing. It's clearly, definitely had an impact on him. He's still a young man as well, but he said he feels that he's been unfairly labelled as a player with a bad attitude, and he wants to set that record straight. I think he was very, very honest in this interview. I'll continue to take snippets out of it. He said people don't understand the whole picture. He said you need a run of games. You need to be trusted. You need game time. You need confidence from the coaches and the players. So look, he's having a clear dig at Russell Martin there. He wasn't trusted by Russell Martin. Let's be totally honest. I'm going to look at his statistics in the seasons he's been in very, very shortly and break it all down. But you can see when you start to look at his run of games and his game time under each manager. But he hasn't been trusted. But he is getting trusted by Ivan Juric. There is no doubt about it. And this was quite a hard bit to read, actually. He said at times he felt really alone in his battle. He said, I get a lot of stick. I get a lot of bad comments and people question my character. He continued to go on and say, there are so many things that I've seen out there. People think I've got an attitude problem, and that's the reason why I wasn't playing. And a lot of people did think that. A lot of people did think he had an attitude. But where did that come from? And I think it's a really good point that he's making. A lot of people have called out his character and his personality, because on the field I always think he's given a lot, and he always runs hard and works hard, and he's not, I don't think he's the sort of player that gives up that easy. He said he's never disrespected anybody at the football club. I'm always on time, and when I'm on the pitch I work as hard as I can. I agree with that. I think when he does work hard. I think he's got a long way to go as a player, and he can improve so much more. He's got bags and bags of potential. Let's be quite honest. Theo Walcott, when he was at the football club, went on to talk about he spoke about after he left the football club about players that he played with that were the fastest he had ever seen. And he said, Kamaldeen, he was the fastest player he'd ever seen. And in training, he said it was unbelievable. He just does one trick too many. And he does, doesn't he? He does that one trick too many. He just needs that end product because he's got the pace, he's got the power, he's got the build. He's quite a muscly lad. I still think we with the right manager, we'd probably seen a totally different player by now. Right, let's talk about some more of what he's had to say as well. And he also went on to say that it's obviously been tough not being the side. He said, he's worked even harder, double as hard, he said, to get that chance. He said, I never really played, but I was always giving my best. And Russell Martin did talk about him in training, saying how well he was training at times. Just didn't fit his system. He said, when I see stuff like I've got an attitude problem, I don't know where it's coming from. Give me your thoughts. Have you ever felt that he had an attitude problem from what you were seeing on the field? He then went on to say, when it comes to people with a following, they look at trusted journalists, and there are trusted journalists out there. And when they bring something out that isn't true, everyone picks up on it. And that can be quite true in football. But I'm one of those ones that I try and look through it and see it from both point of views. And I've tried to do that with the Flynn Down situation, because I think you have to kind of look at it from both sides. Yeah, you can get a trusted journalist, and I think there's some you trust more than others, though. That's for sure. I haven't seen any of the Saints journalists, not that I can recall, the ones that I trust, come out and slag him off and talk about his attitude. I've never seen that from Alfie. I've never seen that from George, and I definitely haven't seen it from Adam Blackmore, like never. And they're my trusted three when it comes to Southampton. He said the whole fan base can believe in their tricks. He said they tend to be harder on you, but just because they've heard you had a bad attitude. There's nothing to show that I have had a bad attitude. They've heard it from a source they trust. It's quite interesting. I wonder who that source was, because I haven't seen anything. He said, at the training ground, the coaches are telling me that I'm training good, and the players tell me I'm training good. I've always said if I wasn't playing under the previous coach and I wasn't training well, why have I gone on to play immediately? So he's saying that he's gone straight into the side under Ivan Juric. He did go a long period of time without scoring a goal for Southampton. Let's be honest, it's been a long period of time that since he last scored his last Southampton goal, when he scored that one in the FA Cup. The last two come when we got relegated in the Premier League. He didn't score one goal in Russell Martin's reign as manager, just not the one. Scored the two in the 4-4 draw. He kept touching upon that record transfer fee, and he said it's always been big pressure. He said that when he come back from injuries, he felt there was more pressure on him than anyone else because of that fee. There was no doubt about it. I think it was always spoke about as well that he was that record signing, and people do expect a lot when you pay that amount of money for a footballer. They do. I think we probably paid a lot too much money for him personally. There's no doubt about that. But he did make and it's a hot. The next bit I'm going to come on to is a hot topic, and I can totally relate to Kamaldeen with what he's saying now. I can totally relate to it. I'm a football content creator in terms of like the scale of content creators. I'm quite a small one, but in Southampton, obviously, I've got a fairly good following, one of the bigger ones within the Southampton community. So look, not everything I receive is positive. I get a lot of positive feedback here on YouTube, but it's not everywhere that you get it. And I feel what he's saying now. And he speaks about social media. He went on to talk about the pressure. He said, to some extent, it might affect you. It depends how much. As a player, sometimes it can affect some more than others, but I think it affects everybody who can come and play in England. He said it's boiled over into nastiness at times, particularly in social media. It's a hot topic at the moment. We're always on our phones, so it's not like that we don't see what people say about us. So he's certainly one of those players that are on social media. So it will affect him, because it does. There's no doubt about it. It will do. If you're hearing nasty stuff about you and people are being horrible and vindictive, no matter how much money you're earning or how little money you're earning, it's not very nice. It's not very nice. And you have to have very thick skin to say, I'm just going to rise above it. But he did go on to say, some people even come into your DMs and it's not even a post about you. It's just sent straight to your inbox as an insult or this and that. There's a pressure both inside and outside the club. Sometimes the inner is good. So he's saying it's better on the inside than the outside. It pushes us on the inside, he's saying, but sometimes the outside pressures become a lot and it becomes very tough. So I think he's probably found it tough off the field, but I get it. I get what he's saying. When people are nasty and they're horrible and it finds its way to your inbox, because I get people direct inbox me on all my platforms a fair amount. And sometimes it can be personal abuse. It can be about your looks. And you think, why would anyone do that? He's a footballer. He's still got feelings and still got emotions, no matter what anyone says. He is a player with a huge amount of potential if managed rightly. I think he's got the right manager for him. There's no doubt about it. I think he has. I've broken down his statistics to have a little closer look at Kamaldeen's time at the football club. Give me your reaction as I'm going along in this. I want your opinion on this, because his first season stats, he had 18 appearances from the minute he signed in January to the end of that season we got relegated. He didn't really get a consecutive run of games after the opening few. He had 10 starts, and he had 8 substitutes appearances. He only played 967 minutes. He was in the squad 18 times. It's not a huge amount. Then, obviously, we got relegated. Ruben Sellés went. Obviously, he started with Nathan Jones. And then this season under Russell Martin, the stats are quite sad, really, when you look at it. He had 25 appearances last season. 15 of those were as a sub. He's played 1,006 minutes. But he played a lot more minutes. But when you compare it to the year before, he's always played what he played in half. He played in a whole season what he played in half the season before. He was in the squad 30 times during Russell Martin's tenure at the football club. Started just 11 games. He was substituted in 10 games. He was injured for 11 of Russell Martin's games last season as well. And then obviously the rest, he was left out. So, yeah, look, he didn't get any particular run. A lot of those, you're not going to get an impact off of him coming on with 10 minutes to go. Don't think he's that sort of player, personally. And I just think last season was the wrong manager for him. And that's why they tried to move him on when they did. This season, under even, I'm only going to do it under even. I don't want to do it under Russell Martin. I've broken down the games. Out of the 9, he's played 8 games. The pace that he showed versus Euro at Old Trafford was unbelievable that night. He ripped him to shreds, and you still hear them talk about it on TNT Sport now. Darren Fletcher still brings it up about whenever he's commentating on Man United, what Sulemana did that night to Man United, how he terrorised Euro in their defence. He was brilliant that night, absolutely magnificent. I thought he was really, really good that night, and it was probably his best performance ever in a Southampton shirt. If he could do it consecutively, it would help massively, wouldn't it? But it is doing it consecutively. Overall statistics for this season, he's got just a 1 goal so far. He's got 1 assist, not enough, is it? He's got an XG of 0.47. He's had 13 shots. Pass accuracy is not bad, 87%. He's created 4 chances. He's won 26 duels. I think he's quite good in the tackle when he wants to be because he's a strong, stocky lad. He's won possession just the 5 times in the final third, and he's had 17 successful dribbles. He needs to have more of those because that's where he's good. He can dribble with the ball. He can travel with the ball, and I think it's a big half to the season for him now. I really do feel when you look at the next sort of like the run to the end of this season, I think huge for him as a footballer. I really do. I think if it's make or break for him at Southampton Football Club, if it's going to happen, it needs to happen now. I know he frustrates a lot of fans. I see a lot of potential in him. I feel it's sad reading what I've read about the tough time he's had off the pitch. I know a lot of you would have missed this. This is why I've done this video, really, because a lot of you would have missed this match day programme and what was said. So, look, I think it's a big end to the season. Will he be here in the Championship next year? I think he'd have to have a really good end to this season. I really, really do. Get involved in the comments box below. Give me your thoughts on Kamaldeen Sulemana. I think he'll score more goals between now and the end of the season, and he's got a manager that believes in him clearly. And it's just been under the wrong manager up until now. But he's in a man that trusts him, and I think that's everything as a footballer. I really, really do. I think as fans, we need to get behind him as well and give him support. And I think he's one player that gets me off my feet at times when he's on it. I really do. I like him as a player. Right, let's move on a little bit. A little bit of other Saints news. I was looking through the website today, actually. It was a good week for the Saints youngsters, by the way. The under-18 scored 8 goals in 2 games to continue really impressive season so far for them. Coming from a shaky start at St Mary's to advance the FA Cup Youth quarter-final with a comprehensive 4-1 victory over Derby. They set up a trip to Watford or Tottenham in the last 8. Hope they go on and do well. We'll be watching those. You can watch a lot of these because they're streaming these now as well. The under-18s followed it up with a win at the weekend in the league, overcoming league leaders Aston Villa. Big win this. It was up at Villa's training ground, a 4-2 victory for them. They've got some really good youngsters coming through as well. Elsewhere, the under-21s fought back against Liverpool in the Premier League 2, rescued a point deep into added time when Max Fry headed home from a corner that was down at the Silver Lake Stadium at Eastleigh as well. And obviously we know about the men's game at the weekend and that defeat. So that's just a little bit of Saints news for you. I thought I'd talk about it. I think they've got some good young players coming through as well, so excited to see them break through. And the other bit of Saints news that I nearly forgot to drop into the channel was that the club shop now, you need to be aware of this. If you go down there and grab your bits and bobs during the week, it's not going to be open every day. It's only going to be open 3 days a week. The Saints store previously operated 6 days a week, but it's now closed on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and also on a Sunday if it's not a match day. You can check out all the opening times over on the club's site as well. It's always open after match day as well, like 30 minutes after match day. There's no doubt they would have been looking at the trends, the footfall. It's really hard to operate shops these days. We all know that because everyone can buy it online, and hopefully they'll offer some more deals in terms of like postage deals and stuff, because I think it's particularly cheap with postage sometimes, but the odd offer on postage, free postage for a weekend or a sort of period of time, I think would be quite a good idea. But it is going to be, it's only going to be open selected days a week. You need to check it out. So if you're going down there and you're not seeing it, jump over to the club's website. Ticket exchange is open for the Bournemouth game. Obviously sold out by the looks of it now. If this ticket exchange is open, managed to pick up a ticket a few days ago. I don't have a season ticket. I just buy tickets as I go. And there wasn't many left. So unbelievable support by the fan base yet again, and I want to talk about the support. I want to touch upon it. I'm not going to go into loads and loads of detail about it. I'm not going to go on. I'll give you my honest opinion about it, but I'm not going to slag it off. The Northern Wall. What were your thoughts this season on the Northern Wall so far, and your thoughts on the atmosphere within St Mary's since that big change this year? Really competitive prices to get people in there. They filled it up. They sold every single season ticket. Did the owners very, very well? Really, really well done. Really well done. The support of the football club, I think, has been nothing short of incredible all season long. You look at home and away, it's been good. But the atmosphere in St Mary's, a lot of people were talking about it. That is not what it was last season. They've changed it by, not having that Itching North anymore, because the Itching North has created a really good atmosphere up there. But there's no doubt they wanted to get those fans out of there because they've got the Knightsbridge Lounge in there, the new executive lounge, or they got some executive lounge. I've not been invited yet. I'm still waiting for my invite. Southampton, come on, I'm waiting for my invite. Would love to go and check it out, but they obviously made the space there. Got the fans out that way. They were in the Northern Wall. I think the acoustics of the stadium have changed. I've enjoyed it down in the chapel this year at times, but you don't necessarily hear the Northern Wall as much when you're down there. But I think the performances and the results at home, just the one win at home, it's never going to be a great atmosphere, was it? I think it's really hard to compare it. There's all these people criticising it online. It's not that good. It's not what I expected, people are saying. But I think it's a difficult one to judge it, isn't it? When we've not had loads to cheer about this season. In a season in the Championship next season, when it gets rocking, it'd be really interesting to see. It would have been interesting to see a lot of fans were saying we're up in the Kingsland, North would have been a good place for the away fans. Problem is, all the sound would have been down there, and the rest of it would have been like Prawn Sandwich Brigade. It would have been like sat in a library. That would have been I don't know. I enjoy seeing the away fans and seeing how they travel. I don't think it works that bad personally. Give me your thoughts on it in the comments box below. I think we've all got different opinions of it. I think that just the support has just been insane by our fan base, and even I know there was a lot of empty seats inside the Northern Wall this weekend. No surprise that season ticket holders didn't want to get their ticket for it. When it was 22 quid, we've been crap all season. It was against the side that was. We know the game was going to pan out. We don't even cover it ever again, but we all know it was going to pan out. But they've turned up in their droves week in, week out, and you can't fault anybody for doing that. We've got a great fan base, absolute great fan base. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Northern Wall. Do think the acoustics have changed. I think we can judge it next season when we're back in the Championship and we're winning games of football. You hope more regularly, and hopefully getting wins week in, week out. Later on the week, we're going to preview the Bournemouth game. We'll get a preview show out, probably going to be Friday. Still trying to line that one up. It's always hard. You've got to try and sort of guest out. I want to put something together and bring someone onto the channel from Bournemouth and have a little bit of an in-depth chat. Certainly about their season so far, what it's been like under Iriola, the football they're playing. We've got a fair idea if you've been watching them on telly. They're a really, really, really solid side. Right, that's all your Saints news. That's all the Saints chat. Have a bit of debate. Get involved in the comments box below. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you again in another show later this week.